Thank you, Mr. Acting President. I wish that the fires did not happen, let alone their unprecedented ferocity, duration and magnitude. We all wish that individuals and communities did not lose their homes, their businesses and their lives because of these fires. Unfortunately, our wishes are not reality. The New South Wales fires claimed 25 lives, and I give my heartfelt condolences to the friends and family of every victim. Of these 25s, there were 19 civilians, 3 RFS firefighters and 3 American airmen who came to assist us. I thank them for their dedication. To each and every person who assisted in fighting the fires, thank you. And thank you in particular to the RFS under the leadership of Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons and Deputy Commissioner Bob Rogers. Fire and Rescue New South Wales under the leadership of Commissioner Paul Baxter and Deputy Commissioner Jeremy Futrell, and those from Forestry and National Parks, and to all the unions who work to aid and represent firefighters during this crisis, including the Fire Brigade Employees Union, Public Sector Association and the Australian Workers Union, Mr. President. To the community groups, New South Wales Police, New South Wales Ambulance and volunteers who assisted in whichever way they could and did, and to those who are assisting in supporting and rebuilding the damaged communities in the aftermath of the fires. It is important that we take the opportunity to reflect and learn from the events that have transpired. If we are to take a lesson from this tragedy, and we absolutely should, it is that we need to be prepared, better prepared. This includes ensuring that there are enough professional and retained firefighters to deal with such catastrophic events, as well as ensuring that volunteers are adequately resourced to be able to respond. The government, Mr. President, has a responsibility to use taxpayers' money in a way which prioritises human life and welfare, which includes retaining enough firefighters and adequately resourcing those brave volunteers who put their life on the line. Mr. President, a volunteer will always want to support their community, but this should not be taken advantage of or exploited to cut down on full-time paid resource. So many of these firefighters volunteered through their own generosity, and I deeply respect and thank them for their bravery. We are lucky to have them. If we are to learn from these events, it is that if we are going to rely on the voluntary spirit of volunteers, the least we can do is adequately resource them. I have to say, Mr. President, there is a growing and concerning trend for modern government to avoid difficult conversations regarding the tax base and budgetary policy in favour of outsourcing core government responsibilities of protecting human life and welfare to the private sector and to the voluntary and charitable sectors, which of course and absolutely have their place, but should never be relied on to the point where volunteers and citizens are placed in mortal danger. Mr. President, the closest I got, being a city person, to the understanding of the gravity of this situation was when my good friend and colleague from the lower house, Trish Doyle, relayed the story of her son who, whilst trapped in an immobilised and ill-equipped fire truck, sent a text to his mum saying, "Mum, I don't think we're going to make it." Trish then showed me the video of the men in that vehicle making a crucial decision against their formal training to leave the vehicle while the bush around them burnt to the ground. The decision was based on the fact that the truck was not equipped to deal with the situation and was ultimately a decision, Mr. President, which saved their lives, a decision that could have potentially been avoided if they had been adequately resourced. My heart goes out to those who have family or friends who are affected by these bushfires, and we've heard many stories recounted today from my colleagues. Our community, the New South Wales community, is in mourning and is suffering the loss of victims, the loss of houses, and the loss of our native flora and fauna. I know from the evidence we've been hearing, Mr President, on the inquiry into koala populations and habitat that there has been immense damage done to the koala population by the bushfires, and similar destruction has occurred in other species of fauna, indeed, and flora. I was fortunate enough to witness firsthand the amazing work of the Koala Hospital at Port Macquarie on a recent visit after the bushfires, and the excellent medical care and rehabilitation that was provided to those injured koalas. I can only imagine their jobs are becoming more demanding as a result of the fires, and I want to thank all those involved in rescuing and caring for our wildlife. With the welcome rainfall and all fires in New South Wales now by and large under control, the media spotlight has of course turned away from the bushfires. But this does not mean the work is over, nor that we should forget about the victims. In fact, Mr President, it is often after the flurry of activity and resources surrounding the immediate relief effort that the problems with recovery and rebuilding actually commence. We must now continue to support the communities who have been affected by these unprecedented fires. We saw a tremendous coming together of the community and support during the fires, and we must continue this support and assistance in the aftermath. We must ensure that we do not follow in the footsteps of past tragedies where houses, businesses and property had not been restored for years after the initial destruction. These communities are an integral part of our future, and together we must ensure their longevity by making sure the long-term recovery process is resourced and completed as quickly as possible to avoid further unnecessary pain and suffering.